The Medal of Honor had 3 words engraved on back: William R. Hayes. Google showed Hayes saved 13 soldiers in Vietnam. The pawnshop database showed who sold it. W. Hayes needed $50 for medicine. Dave knew he had to find this hero. He didn't expect to find him living behind his shop. Cincinnati, Ohio, March 15th, 2021. Monday afternoon. Dave Chen had owned River City Pawn for 22 years. He'd seen everything. Wedding rings from divorces, guitars from broken dreams, TVs from desperate addicts. But never this. The medal came in a plastic bag with other items: an old watch, some coins, a pocket knife. The seller was already gone. The employee who took it, Tommy, was new. Didn't know what he'd bought. Tommy, who sold this? Tommy checked the log. William Hayes. Old guy, maybe 70. Needed money for medicine. Paid him $50 for the lot. Dave held the Medal of Honor. The weight of it. The pale blue ribbon. The star. He'd served himself, Navy, 4 years. He knew what this meant. Google search, William R. Hayes, Medal of Honor, Vietnam. Results immediate. Staff Sergeant William R. Hayes, 1st Infantry Division. August 18, 1969. Quang Tri Province. When his platoon was ambushed, Sergeant Hayes deliberately drew enemy fire, allowing 13 wounded soldiers to reach safety. Shot 7 times, he continued fighting for 40 minutes until reinforcements arrived. Dave read more. President Nixon presented the Medal of Honor on April 2, 1970. Hayes recovered from his wounds but suffered permanent damage to his left leg and lung. The photos showed young Hayes, 20 years old, bright eyes, strong jaw, hero's smile. Dave looked at the database entry. Today's date, the address, 1847 Riverside Drive. That was 2 blocks away. Tommy watched the shop. Dave drove to the address. It was a rundown apartment building. He knocked on 3B. No answer. Knocked again. The neighbor opened her door. He's not there. Where is he? Hospital probably, or the park, or behind Chen's pawn shop. Behind? That's my shop. Yeah, he sleeps there sometimes, in the alley. Says it's quiet. Dave drove back, checked the alley. There, between 2 dumpsters, a cardboard shelter. Clean, organized, military precise. Mr. Hayes? Movement inside. An old man emerged, 73 years old, gray beard, thin. That strong jaw from the photos, now hollow. But the eyes, same eyes. Yeah? I'm Dave Chen. I own this pawn shop. I'm not causing trouble, I'll move. No, Mr. Hayes. William, you sold some items today. Hayes looked down. Needed medicine, heart pills. VA takes forever. The Medal of Honor. Silence. I had to. Mr. Hayes, I want to return it. Can't buy it back. Spent the money. I don't want you to buy it. I want to give it back. Hayes looked at him. Why? Because you earned it. Because you saved 13 men. That was 50 years ago? Different person. Same hero. Hayes laughed, bitter. Hero? I'm homeless, family gone, living in an alley. Some hero. Dave sat down on a milk crate. What happened? Hayes was quiet. Then, like a dam breaking, he talked. Came home from Vietnam, got married. Linda, beautiful, had 2 kids, Michael and Sarah, worked construction, good life. Then Linda got cancer. Insurance didn't cover everything. Spent savings. She died anyway. 2000 das. He paused. Kids grew up. Michael joined Army, like his dad. Afghanistan, 2012, IED, Sarah. Sarah blamed me, said I glorified war. Haven't spoken since. Started drinking. Lost job, lost house. Been on streets 3 years. The VA? They try, but I'm one of thousands. Benefits got cut. Wait times are months. Medicine costs more than my check. Dave stood up. Come with me. Where? Inside. You're moving in. What? The shop has an apartment upstairs. Previous owner lived there. Been empty 5 years. You're moving in. I can't pay rent. Don't want rent. Want a security guard. Night shift. You know, keep an eye on things. Hayes understood. This wasn't charity. This was dignity. I don't know. Mr. Hayes, William, you slept behind my shop to guard it, didn't you? Even homeless, you were protecting property. Hayes nodded. Old habits. Then make it official. They went upstairs. The apartment was dusty but clean. 1 bedroom, kitchen, bathroom, view of the river. This is too much. This is not enough, but it's a start. Dave made calls. First, the VA. He had a friend there. Fast-tracked Hayes' case. Medicine would arrive tomorrow. Second, local news. Quietly. No cameras yet, just research. Third, Facebook. Posted Hayes' story, asked for help. Within hours, responses flooded in. That's the man who saved my father. My uncle was one of the 13. We've been looking for him for years. One message stood out. Mr. Chen, I'm Michael Donnelly. William Hayes saved my father in Vietnam. Dad talked about him until he died. Our family owes everything to Sergeant Hayes. How can we help? Dave responded. They talked. Michael was a successful businessman now. His father, one of the 13, had built a construction company. Wanted to help Hayes for decades, but lost track of him. A week later, Hayes was in his apartment, clean-shaven, new clothes, medicine working. Dave knocked. William, some people want to meet you. Who? Come downstairs. In the pawn shop stood 13 people. Different ages, different races, all connected. Mr. Hayes, the oldest said, I'm James Thompson. You saved my father Robert Thompson in 1969. I'm Jennifer Martinez. You saved my grandfather Luis Martinez. I'm David Kim. You saved my father John Kim. One by one. 13 families, children and grandchildren of the men Hayes saved. Hayes' legs gave out. He sat, overwhelmed. Young Michael Donnelly stepped forward. Sergeant Hayes, you gave us our fathers, our grandfathers. You gave us life. We've been looking for you. I did my job. You did more, and we forgot you. America forgot you. But we remember now. They'd organized, set up a fund. Every family contributed. Enough for Hayes to live comfortably forever, but more than money. Every Sunday, Thompson said, we have dinner. All 13 families. You're joining us. That's an order, Sergeant. Hayes cried. First time in years. The local news arrived. The story went national. Medal of Honor hero found living behind pawn shop. Donations poured in. The VA expedited everything. Full benefits restored. Back pay delivered. But the biggest surprise came 2 weeks later. A knock on Dave's shop door. A woman, 45 years old. I'm looking for William Hayes. Who are you? Sarah, his daughter. Dave called Hayes down. Father and daughter stood apart. 10 feet, 10 years of silence. Dad. Sarah. I saw the news. I was wrong. About everything. Michael would be proud. You were never glorifying war. You were honoring service. Sarah, She hugged him. Both cried. I have kids, Dad. Twins, 8 years old. They need to know their grandfather. I'm not much of a grandfather. You're a hero. No. Sarah pulled out her phone, showed him a photo. 2 boys, wearing army costumes for Halloween. Their names are William and Michael, after you and their uncle. Hayes broke down completely. 6 months later, Dave's pawn shop had a new addition, a small museum. The Medal of Honor room. Hayes' medal in a place of honor. but also stories of all medal recipients from Ohio. Hayes ran it, gave tours to school kids, told stories. Not of glory, but of sacrifice. Not of killing, but of saving. The 13 families became Hayes' family. Every Sunday dinner, every holiday, every birthday. Sarah moved closer. The twins spent weekends with Grandpa. He taught them not about war, but about service, about honor, about helping others. The apartment above the shop became command central for veteran services. Hayes coordinated with the VA, helping other homeless vets. He knew where they slept, what they needed, how to reach them. No one gets left behind, he'd say. Not in war, not in peace. 1 year later, Dave stood in his shop. Hayes came down from upstairs. "Dave, need to tell you something." "What?" "That night I sold the medal. I was going to use the $50 differently." "Medicine, you said. Number pills, different pills?" "All of them. End it." Dave was quiet. "You saved my life, not by returning the medal, by seeing me, actually seeing me." "William, let me finish. I've saved 17 veterans this year, off the streets, into homes. That's because you saved me first. You saved yourself. Number. You reminded me I was worth saving." They stood quietly. Then Hayes said, "Got a school group coming. 30 kids, third graders, Sarah's class." "She's teaching now?" "Yeah, and she tells them about her dad, the hero." Hayes smiled. "I'm starting to believe her." That afternoon, 30 third graders sat mesmerized as Hayes told his story. Not the war story, the after story, the harder story, the survival story. One kid raised his hand. "Mr. Hayes, what's a hero?" Hayes thought. "A hero is someone who helps others, even when they can't help themselves." "Are you a hero?" Hayes looked at Dave, at Sarah, at the medal in its case. "I'm trying to be." The pawn shop still operates, but the sign now reads River City Pawn and Veteran Center. The medal is still there, not for sale, never for sale, but the story of how it got there, how it was almost lost, how it was found, how it saved the man who earned it. That story is given freely to anyone who needs to hear it, because sometimes heroes need saving too, and sometimes a $50 purchase can be worth $1 million life. The medal reads, "For valor." But Dave added a placard, "For value." Every life has it, even heroes who forget they're heroes. William R. Hayes, Medal of Honor recipient, homeless veteran, father, grandfather, friend, hero, found.